long. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We just checked, it's episode 24, but we did converse and say that we're not even going to talk about what episode it is anymore because it's just getting past that point. It's probably not been that long. It feels longer than
it feels longer because a lot's happened, and the podcast frequencies were getting really inconsistent.
When was your Arnold show?
The 2nd of last month, and then we did one the following week. So it's been about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks since the last one. Honestly, it's one of those where once you get it in a routine, it's fine. But
once you're in.
Yeah, once you're into the routine, it's fine. But and I do enjoy them because we just chat. I've had people Josh. I mentioned him. I went to a football game yesterday, and Josh was like, "Oh, I can't wait to listen to the next podcast." And I was like,
loads of people have said bring it back and listen to the podcast. And I'm not even saying that as if, obviously not loads. It's not hundreds of thousands of people, but
no.
We have had quite a lot of people say "Oh, come on, get another episode done." So obviously we're in quite high demand, mate.
Yeah, and Josh was like, "Oh, it's just he said that if he was to drive up, he had a 2.5 hour drive. It's just him sitting there having a chat with us, even though I'm like, you're not really talking to us."
I wait for certain podcasts to come out or certain, I don't know, episodes of something to come out on TV. If you're waiting for something, I get that feeling of anticipation, and it's just nice. It's like a comforting thing, isn't it? I remember when I used to listen to a podcast when I drive to yours in lockdown, and if there wasn't a podcast that I was wanting to listen to, I'd be like, what can I look at? Try and find a new one, or just put in the radio on.
You come in and you'd be like, I don't want to train.
Yeah, if I didn't have the podcast on, I didn't train well.
I might as well not train.
Couldn't find a motivational podcast that I needed.
Yeah, so you just went home.
Machiavelli motivation podcasts on the way. That's all I listened to.
Shocking, but yeah. So basically, podcasts are back every Thursday. We said 6 till 7. First week, Finn's an hour and 15 late.
I told you I'd be late.
Yeah, we knew you'd be late. Or we knew you'd be late. So
we know that. Evidence suggests that I would have been late because I went to Leeds to see my grandma.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, bless her. So basically, Finn's grandma's the reason why we're slightly late. Makes no difference because this isn't live, and by the time this is out, it's not going to make a difference. But basically, every Thursday, we're back, and it's going to be a time that
because it's a rest day for both of us.
Yeah, we can.
We can do 6 till 7 on a rest day, can't we? Definitely.
Yeah. So the only thing we do on Thursdays is physio every other week, but then with physio times, it's not it's going to be running really.
Don't do any work.
Yeah, the only thing. Mate, I just wake up and just literally just lie in bed all day.
Complete athlete mode all day.
Mate, I've fallen off. The worst thing is, I wanted to highlight and say, if anybody listened to Finn's story, people will actually think that
that's true.
That's the reason. Yeah, exactly. And I've just fallen off post-prep. I haven't had that long-term or that goal in sight. And I felt so my own well-being and my own drive. I've been questioning my why, and I've just been struggling. So
what is your why?
Yeah, I've not been able to hear. What is my why?
While we're here, talk about it.
Talk about my why. I wouldn't even know on the spot, mate. Version of myself every day to be a bit. I don't know.
Fair, I find in my application form, the last question is.
No, mate. The guy who blocked me from Loughborough, do you remember his why? The why stories he used to put up.
Who?
They were fucking embarrassing.
The guy who, I know.
The guy who blocked me.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying
they were bad.
On my application form, I have the last question. I don't say what is your why because it makes me cringe, but I say why do you want to train? What is your motivation? And sometimes I get proper good answers, and I'm like, I wish I thought like that. They're proper good. They're like, I aspire to be better every day. I started this because of whatever reason, they got bullied at school or something. I'm like, I wish I had a cool reason. I feel like I just got into training and I liked it, and then I stuck to it. And I think I don't think that's a bad thing, but it doesn't sound as motivational as some people's reasons why. But then I also think that's quite cool that I don't need that safety blanket to fall back on every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to train. I'm not remember my why. Yeah. I'm just just fucking train, you melt.
Yeah, or don't fucking train. You don't want it.
Or don't train if you don't. Yeah, obviously don't want it. No.
Yeah,
I said to
that's
Reece
literally how it is.
I said to Reece the other day, guys, guys, everyone listening.
Yeah, mate. You know, you said to Reece, I was like, which Reece? I'm the only Reece you know.
I said to you that I'm getting annoyed at the just don't want it enough, just didn't want it enough. I feel like it's ran its course. I mean, if you still want to do it,
can we
feel
retire
free.
it?
I mean, it's not fine. Well, yeah, I've retired it, but I'm like a trendsetter, so I'll get it out of the way early. But I think it's gonna carry on in our name long before we're gone, mate. Long after we're gone, I should say. Even when we're dead, it'll be. Oh, do you remember those two? Oh yeah, they came up with didn't want it enough. Although apparently we didn't come up with it, did we?
Yeah. My life expectancy is far less than yours because you're natural and healthy. So like you'll see like people forget about me, and then you'll go, oh, at least they remember him for the he wanted it enough, or he didn't want it enough.
But apparently we didn't make it up.
So yeah. No, we didn't, but I don't know. I feel like it's
obviously we didn't
those things
it up.
that you
surely someone else in the past has said that, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%. But there's little like words and catchphrases, and then the problem is like one person will hear it, and then a client will mention it, and then you'll say it in a check-in, and then people will literally kind of go, "Oh my god, he just said what they said on the podcast," and then it's like, in reality, I like the meaning of it, but people just rinse it now, and it's a little bit like clients, leave it out. Don't mention it unless we mention it. Even then, probably won't mention it as much. Clients, stop messaging me. Stop saying I don't want it. And if I fail a set on a hack squat, I don't need somebody to tell me I didn't want it.
I know,
I just failed. I'm not strong enough.
I do find it quite funny. Like I'll put a story on and my clients will message me, but they'll do it completely joking. But they'll message like, "Oh, could have maybe had another rep there," and then they'll message after like only joking and like laughing faces. And it is like I get why they do it. It is quite funny. But it does get old.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the disclaimer. Anything else before you want to do a little personal update? I mean, there's not really too much to report from your end. A little bit more for me, but I'm guessing like...
Why? Mate, my life's interesting as well.
Doubtful, mate. You're just fatter. That's it.
I'm not. I'm lean now. I did a mini cut. No, I've held this weight now for a good month.
Yeah, you've been like 210 to 211 and a half, haven't you? 212 around that point.
I think I saw 212 once.
Yeah.
Saw 212 and I went to 212 Olympia and I won.
Really? Was that it?
Yeah.
I thought it was because you went above the weight cap and you got a message saying, "Mate, you're not going to make weight."
Yeah, so
the way you're going, you're not going to make weight.
Oh shit! I need to mini cut, so I'm ready for next year's O.
Yeah, you
put the O on my story.
You did a one-day
red O. Need to be ready for next year's O.
Oh yeah.
Me and Sean Clarido.
So, yeah, give an update, mate. Let's hear. How's your training been? You've changed splits a little bit here and there. You've made a few manipulations.
I don't know if I spoke about it in the last one about changing to like a 14-day split. I think I did. If I didn't speak about it, I did.
You were speaking about it.
Yeah. So I did that, and it worked fine, but I feel like I quite like knowing that obviously I knew what I was training on that given day, but because it was a full 2 weeks rotation, it was like, right, what day is it today? Okay, it's week 2, Tuesday. Okay, that means I'm training this. So I had to like work it out, and I don't really like that. I like knowing days in advance that Wednesday is that day. Yeah. I know that I'm doing this press and this press, and I know that what I got last week. I like to already kind of know. So it was almost just a bit. It wasn't overly complicated because it wasn't at all. It was just almost like slightly unnecessary to the point where I've kind of worked it out where it's like I can kind of do what I wanted to do, which was basically just spread my leg training out a little bit more. I can do it across a week by just having like a full posterior day rather than trying to have 2 leg days in a week. I've basically got 1 leg day which is more quad dominant, and then a full pull day which will have some hamstrings and glutes in it. So
density day,
big density.
Finn has a density day.
I don't. I'm not doing quads in that day. I've changed it, so I'm doing the quads on the Friday. Yeah. So I've changed my split a bit. I'm not going to go into it too much because it's really not that interesting, and I think people over exaggerate or they put too much weight on your split and they think that that's what is going to lead to results, which it doesn't. But yeah, I've made some changes just so that it's a little bit more tailored towards sort of how I think and how I want to think going into sessions. I don't like going into sessions questioning, it's this session this week. Okay, that's, okay, I've got to change. My rest days were different each week. And it wasn't that difficult to work it out. But I don't know. I think because I've always either had a 7-day split.
When you've always been married to a 7-day rotation,
yeah,
and you're like, that's how it's been, and then you switch, even though by design it doesn't sound too much more of a challenge, just like the overall systemic demands, the exercises coming around slightly later, like neurologically you could argue there's a variance. Like, we're being we're being meticulous, but there are things when you've done something in a set way, you can trial something out, and if you were to have ran it for 6 months, it would probably give you more data. But if you can do it for a few weeks and go, not really a massive fan of this. I think it wasn't like you added in a load of exercises and changed everything. You literally just kind of spread out what you were doing, realised probably not the best, and now you just trimmed it down.
It was fine. I could have easily carried on. Like, it wouldn't have been a problem. I wouldn't have been like, oh, this split's not good. It was absolutely fine. But I thought, can I actually make this a little bit more efficient and do it across 7 days? And also, we wanted to try and align some training together again. So, because Reece has sat me off for Sanaya. So I've been training on my own. Sessions have been class, to be fair, training on my own. You don't have to listen to your shit the whole way through.
Yeah. Mate, I didn't even talk for the last 10 weeks.
I know, it was lovely.
I didn't even talk.
Everyone was saying, Reece is such a dick during prep. Sanaya hated you and I loved you. That was the best you've ever been, because you just didn't talk and you were just nice and quiet. It was lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. Just walked around, did head down, sad, miserable.
It was good.
So yeah, no, that. So basically, that's Finn's update. My update. We're 6 and a bit weeks post like the final show now. We didn't even speak about the finals. I finished second to an alien. The guy who beat me was a fucking freak, wasn't he? Sounds mental to even be talking about this, because I feel like it's been long gone. But yeah, basically second in Britain, but I don't really class that as like, it was a real good experience. It was very good fun. I enjoyed it because it was like going in and I was like, right, this is the last day of prep. It was a good show. I looked my best by an absolute mile. I thought everything was a lot better, learned a lot. Went out for some food afterwards, and it was a really nice weekend. I thought everything was pretty much spot on. And then from that, I got ill 3 times during the first or the 2 weeks afterwards. We were saying it's funny because you get a little bit of definitely. To put it into perspective, I think 3 days after the show, I was 2.5 kilos up, which is quite normal when you've had like some off-plan meals. Like I had on the Sunday, I had like a burrito for lunch, and I went out for dinner. I only went to Nando's. On the Saturday, we had a pizza afterwards. So like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I had something off-plan every day, like just a meal off-plan. Or I think on Sunday it was 2, and then like Monday it was just 1. And then literally Tuesday I was ill. Couldn't really eat for like fucking 3 days. So like 3 days afterwards, I was 2.5 kilos up. A week afterwards, I was 0.5 of a kilo up. And I felt the worst I'd felt during literally the whole prep, because it was like I didn't even manage to get myself into a healthier spot because I couldn't eat. I then got myself better, managed to eat again, then got ill. So it was like I got about I'd probably say like 3 months worth of illnesses, like 2 weeks after the shows, which was a bit of a buzzkill, because I was like trying to enjoy my training and I was like, great, another illness. So I felt awful. But to be fair, I kind of was expecting it. I was so run down, and like I had a runny nose. I had all kind of symptoms of just getting ill and being run down for like 10 weeks. And I find it funny because we were saying like it is quite normal. Your body relaxes post prep. You kind of reduce everything, and it's almost where you're more susceptible to actually pick up an illness after prep. I think you said you got ill, didn't you? Like after.
Yeah, I think it's quite common. I've had it. Sonny got ill like pretty much straight after. Like I had no appetite. I think it's a case of almost like shock to the system, being out of your usual routine, and then poor food quality from going out for meals, alongside you thinking that you're recovered and training harder when you're not recovered. So like straight away, and you even did it yourself, even though you said like, oh no, I'll be careful. Like straight away you were dumbbell pressing again, or very quickly, and adding sets here and there, like because you want to, because you feel good. It's normal to, but although you feel good, like, you know, peripherally, if you like, you feel good, but if you were to look deep into your core, you're not right yet. Like there's still a lot that's fucked up.
No.
But like, it's normal. I think everyone does it post show, especially the first time, like, because you do feel uncomfortable once you've had a couple of
slow with like my income. So Yeah, all the off-plan meals, mate. That's what it was. So no, so basically, 6 and a bit weeks now. Body weight's in a really good spot. Training's probably the best it's been in a long, long time. I'm very, very close to like lifetime strength on everything. If not, arguably probably lifetime strength, because I'd say my execution's pretty much like a lot better than it's been. Definitely at this level of strength. So yeah, seems to be in a pretty good spot. Like 10 kilos off like lifetime peak body weight, which I've not really got an aspiration to get to. But if I'm honest with like how condition is, like I'm still, it's funny, like I'm definitely softer. I'm not going to be like arms peeled, like my midsection softer, but my arms, delts, my legs, my limbs are still lean. And it's like one of those where we did some posing early this week, or no, was it like late last week? I can't remember. When we took some photos on Monday. And it's funny because like I'm still lean. Yeah, I'm still lean, but like because I'm softer than where I've been, it's like you look at me and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look as good, but it's expected. I stopped looking for signs of condition the second that I was like my training was getting better, because in theory, like it's one of those where like looking cool is good, and like having like striations on your arms, and don't get twisted, like I'm still in very, very good nick relative to where most people are at this point. And I could definitely push, and I could have pushed a bit more aggressively, but with how training's going, there's no real need. I definitely will just be kind of like going up in a linear fashion for the next month or two. I'll probably be into like 106 to 110 kilos in the next like maybe 6 to 8 weeks, I'd imagine. So probably like January, February, I'll be touching on where I've been before from body weight, like being quite high. But yeah, everything seems to be kind of ticking over nicely. Strength in a good spot, training's in a good spot. Recovery still not ideal, but definitely in a better position. I'm deloading over the next few days, which will be probably quite welcomed, because I've kind of not intentionally smashed myself, but I can tell just recovery is definitely still nowhere near as it was. And that's just what we were talking about a minute ago, how like after a prep you feel better, but you're still not, from a health standpoint, like completely 100%. So like right now, if I was to be, let's say, I've not just done a prep, I probably wouldn't need to deload, but I'm almost thinking, right, I probably do need to pull back, take a slight step back, and then I can push on from that point, and it puts me in a better spot to kind of kick on from there. So yeah, nothing else really to report. No, I'm having tomorrow and Saturday off, so I'm pretty much gonna have those 2 sessions off, and then Monday I'll be back into it. So yeah, I just don't fancy these 2 sessions, mate. Gonna intentionally not wake up and just do nothing all day.
So what, you're back on Monday?
Yeah, I'll be back Monday, Premier. And then the only annoying thing is I only do pull. I did a bit of pull yesterday in my delts and arm session, just to kind of tick off a little bit of pull work. So I only do 1 pull session a week. And I didn't fancy doing like 14 days without pulling. But it means another rotation, mate, where we're not hip hinging, which is annoying, because that Saturday session, the one we've done, was class. So,
oh yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, so we
just need to get back into the swing of it. Like, I think it's not so much.
Yeah.
It's more so like just things haven't fallen right. Obviously, I went away. You've been away. You're deloading now. Sanaya's taken my place. Just a few things.
Yeah. Sanaya, mate, I think you seem a bit upset about that. Is there anything you want to talk about?
I am upset.
Do you want to have a chat?
Simple as that. And you know exactly how I feel.
We don't need to go into detail now, Reece. We've spoken about it.
I'm pretty sure you used to talk about people training with their girlfriends as well, and you were like, "Oh, I'd never want to do that."
Mate, I train with Sanaya 1 session a week. That's it. Like, the only session I train with her is on Tuesdays. Saturday, she jumped in with me for pull because we were going to that Team Evo, #Team Evo, like night out. For me, it wasn't a night out. It was me just people watching, and then waking up the following day, 0.8 of a kilo lighter, because I had 4 meals that day and I was fucking starving. And then other than that, it was like, yeah, it's been literally, she just trains with me on Tuesdays. I've been around hers on Wednesday. So it's like she does
sounds like every day.
So me, yeah, basically, I train every day with Sanaya now. I train every day with Sanaya. Finn has been replaced. You know what? I've seen it. I've seen it live on the podcast. I've seen it. I apologise, Finn. You've been replaced.
You just wheeled off every day of the week.
Yeah, I know. It's like Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Sometimes Wednesdays and a Friday and a Monday here and there.
Yeah, literally. And I'm also deloading Friday, Saturday, so I'm not giving myself much help here. So yeah, we basically just need to get into a position where we're both picking up the same levels of fatigue at the same point. So we're deloading at the same point. We're both saying in the sessions, mate, I'm fucking smashed. We both just need to get back into that rhythm and routine and we'll be sound. But the problem is we kind of fell off and like we've still seen each other, but it hasn't really felt like we've seen each other, you know? And yeah, one of those. But we'll get back into it, mate. That's what we need to do. That's the plan. Because I have missed you. I have missed training with you, mate. I will say that.
Nice to know.
Nice to know. Cheers. Right. We're going to get into some questions. That's it. Nice to know. Right. Well, again, thanks to everybody who's asked some questions. Believe it or not, Finn was saying he thought we'd have more because we've had a few messages. Yeah, and then we actually put them up, and people just asked a few questions, but nothing too special. So, I mean, cheers, guys. Like, thanks. Maybe actually think about some better questions next time because we need all the help we can get. Like, again, we said we don't like each other, so and you can clearly tell Finn doesn't like me anymore because I've replaced him with Sanaya. So, I'm going to start doing weekly podcasts with Sanaya moving forward. I don't know what.
Once fucking surprised me. Take over my own podcast that I started. Imagine, I just see an episode uploaded and I'm not in it.
Mate, it's a good thing I don't have the
25, once you're in, I'm just there. The thumbnail's changed. Everything's completely taken over. I'll just be there.
And we don't even mention anything. No. Just Sanaya does the intro and that's it. That's literally, we just carry on. Yeah. Right. Do you want to start off, man?
Go on.
Okay. So, okay. Mate, perfect. That first question. GB.fitness17. Reece has to save one from falling to their doom. Who does he choose, Sanaya or Finn?
Is this Gulliver's Travel?
Mate, yes, it is. Yeah, Gulliver, big Gull. It's funny. Sanaya mentioned this the other day, and I didn't answer. She said something as a joke, like Finn or me. And I didn't answer. And then she goes, I know it's Finn. And I just went, that's what you said then. That's what you said. And I just left it like that. So what I'll do is I'll just reiterate, and I've told the story, and hopefully everyone can infer from that maybe what the answer is, but maybe not what the answer is. So, yeah, I don't get in trouble. And I don't
You've got to say Sanaya, mate. It's your girlfriend at the end of the day.
Yeah, but Finn, I've known you for longer. And like Sanaya, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to
annoying and...
Yeah, tonight, like
we didn't listing off all the stuff.
Her name was Shane for the first 4 months of the podcast.
Yeah,
like
her name was Shane.
You know, yeah. So if you're going off longevity, I mean, you win. If you're going off recent availability, Sanaya wins. You know, like one of them. Apples and oranges, mate, as everyone says.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
The new say it's apples and oranges.
I don't even know what it means, do they?
So
just apples and oranges.
Yeah.
It's like,
no.
Do you even understand what
just apples.
saying?
It's bodybuilding. Just apples and oranges.
Yeah,
what does apples and oranges mean? Oh, I don't know.
Just bodybuilding.
Just say it.
Just seen a few people put it in their caption recently, so I've added it in. It's all of a sudden just gone into my vocabulary.
Yeah, people that lost their show.
They see it once. They see what someone say it once, and they're like, "Oh, it's like a buzzword."
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree.
Perrin asked.
Perrin Tustin. No,
we don't know any other Perrin. Or do you know any Perrins?
Fair enough.
It's not a common name, is it?
No, I don't. Yeah.
Team FK Physiques versus Team Fit. I'm assuming he means Team R Fit. Who will take more W's, wins, home next year?
Perrin v Ben. We've already said it.
The cat's out the bag there because I haven't posted about it or anything yet. So...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but but I also got Tom Taylor asking a question about it, so we might as well. I don't think they'll be asked anymore. So basically, I coach Perrin now, everybody, which is pretty cool. Especially when we spoke about in a previous podcast, if there was someone you'd want to coach, we spoke about Perrin. So that is very cool.
Yeah,
and
I said Nick Walker. He hasn't applied yet, so
has he not?
maybe I'm
speak it into existence. Keep speaking it into existence.
The application's going to come through.
That's what I did.
Nick, I'm waiting. So
I do feel very fortunate to be coaching him. It's going well so far. I'm enjoying it, and he's enjoying it. It is going very well. So yeah, well, you've got Conran competing, who I think will do very well.
I hope so. Yeah.
Ben, who is
Ben,
very good.
Yeah, Ben's very decent. Matthew, physique.
Yeah, he looks good.
And then Brody, I think physique as well.
Next year?
So that's 4. Yeah, most likely. We had a FaceTime. So it's more so like, we're just going to play it by ear, see how
I've got a few that
are
are like that. Maybe next year, maybe not.
Yeah.
Often I push them to the year after if they think like that. And I just think most of the time for those people, it's that they need more time.
Yeah. No, like I look at it and think like, for example, you know, Andy, you know, the guy from Leeds. If he was to do a physique show, he'd wipe the floor in most physique shows if he was bigger, you know. So it's almost like, right, you need to be bigger. So yeah, it's one of those. I've got a lad signing up. I told you, I think I showed you, you know, when we were at the physio, you know, Finlay or Finlay Roberts, because it's not Finlay. And he's 2023. I'm setting him up over the next few days, so hopefully that's a good project, because he looks fantastic for considering like competed naturally. That
you carry on, mate. I've got to go let Shannon in 1 minute.
Yeah, so that'll be a very decent kind of experience. And then like I'm pretty much taking the floor now, but yeah, so it would depend really. I don't think Ben and Pearson will be doing the same for like qualifier shows, and I'd imagine that the goal would be to get to the finals for both of them. They both should be thinking right finals, and therefore me and Finn would be thinking finals for them. So I mean, it only really matters what the outcome between them two is as an absolute minimum. But yeah, Pearson is now coached by Finn, 19. As he turned 20, Perry, if you turn 20 the other day. I remember I dropped you a message on your birthday. So for 20, mate, you are very, very decent. So that'll be good to see. That'll be very, very good to see next year. And likewise, I'm excited to see how Ben does. And I think it's exciting times, because I definitely think with how, let's say, me and Finn were this year, with myself competing, and then likewise the clientele that we're picking up. Not saying that, let's say, we're just going after kind of prep clients, but it's definitely kind of shifting towards the higher level individuals when it comes to athletes, and just the not the upper echelon, because they're not top level guys that we're going to be coaching. Like for example, as good as Pearson is, he's not a top pro level kind of physique, and that's not the kind of guys that we're going after. But the fact that we're getting people on stage, most likely, and Finn will probably have 4, 5, 6 people over next year, and then I'd imagine the following year even more. That's exciting. So yeah, did you hear what I was saying, or did you?
No, mate, I was downstairs.
Oh, so I didn't know, if you could hear me through, like when you were.
Sorry.
I basically was saying it's quite cool how it's shifting now to where we're not trying to be direct prep coaches. I imagine that will probably be what occurs eventually, but it's quite cool to see the shift of athletes and in general working with higher echelon people. But I said in the grand scheme of things, Pearson, even though he's very, very good for 20, he's not at a pro level. He's not even at a high level. He's a first-time competitor, but it's still meant to be kind of holding his hand in the process. The same with Ben. Individuals like that train really well.
It's good it's almost like getting people who it's people who have got a lot of potential. That's what's exciting, and people who work hard, and who are committed. Like that's obviously we're not going to get clients who are pros.
I might get Nick Walker. An elite level. Never know.
Like you might get Nick Walker. To be fair,
spoke Nick Walker into it. I've spoken it into existence.
Just say it. Just say it every day, and it'll happen. I will coach Nick Walker. I will coach Nick Walker. But no, I've got Pearson competing, who I have very, very high hopes for. We have quite high goals set, quite big goals set. I've got Jack, Jack Buff, who I'm coaching now. And again, he's very, very good. Very excited for him. George.
Lovely set of quads.
He has got an incredible set of quads. He's got an incredible physique, mate. He's got a lovely physique. He's got some weak areas that really need to come up to balance him out, because his quads are almost overly dominant. But he has got a really nice physique. But so is Pearson, and so is George. George is competing early next year, so he's doing the novice classic. So it's end of May 22nd, the UKDFBA, and he's very good. His lower body needs to come on, especially his hamstrings, but otherwise, his upper body is ridiculously good. Like very,
he's got the best coach for him. He's got the best coach for him.
He's in the right hands. I'm giving him my my best advice, mate. To be fair, we're just hammering him. What else can we do? I said to him, make sure when every time he sends his videos over, I'm like, how's your hamstring connection? Are you actually feeling them every movement you're doing? And he is. So yeah, his lower body does need to come up, but his upper body is really, really good. I can't think who else I've got competing next year. I think I've just got a few maybes. I've got a young lad.
Reece fit. Reece might.
Yeah, I've got you.
You never know.
I want you to compete the year after, to be honest. You think about how quick it will come around very, very quick.
Yeah.
So I would say for you, it makes sense to have another year. I've got a young lad, Noah, who is thinking about it. He knows he's not at the level yet. He's pretty good, but he's not at the level he'd need to be to be competitive. But he kind of wants to do it just to see if he enjoys it, which is absolutely.
No other lad at Ultraflex.
Sorry?
No other lad at Ultraflex, or am I thinking?
No, that's Leo. Leo looks really good. Leo will be very hard to beat in like 2 years. We've got plans set for 2023 to 2025 because he's going to be a junior still by then. He's going to be really good because he looks mint already.
Mate, wait, slow down. So he'd be doing physique, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, he'll most likely be up against Josh. That'd be funny. You know, the good lad that came up with me to train last 2 sessions.
How old is Josh?
19.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's in very good nick for 19. But we spoke about like future years, and I was like 4 years because 4 years he could still be a junior, be 23, upper age limit. And I said to him, like, physique wise, mate, you'd be like very, very, very good. So, but I don't think we'll wait 4 years. Like he'd be good 2 years from now. If I'm honest, I think personally,
in 2 years and then do it again.
Yeah. This time next year, he'll be like, when the show dates come out next year, I think we'll both be like, yeah, let's have a think, because for the following year that is. So yeah, that'll be exciting. But that might be physique v physique. I mean, I better win that one because I'm the actual only physique competitor here. So yeah.
Yeah, but Leo is good, isn't he? Leo's shape is lovely. Yeah.
Josh v Leo, 2023 or 2024. Ben v Pearson. Mate, we shouldn't be having rivalries because it'll actually be a real good, like, it'll be mint if we were to go to a show and we had like, or the finals and we had like 2 clients each. That'd be class. Like, that'd be really, really good.
I don't see it as a rivalry. Like, at the end of the day, you both want your clients to do as best as possible. Right. Is it my question? No, it's you.
I think it's me. Right. GB Fitness again. I'm only going to answer. He asked, how did the infamous duo meet? Pure Gym, mate. Finn copied how I was walking. Theo Constantine, one of my old clients. Cheers for sacking me, Theo. Cheers, mate. Means a lot. He asked, is it possible to fit 2 hip hinges into a week's training? Too much volume? Well, mate, if I still coach you, no. Clearly not.
You could ask me directly, so I'm not going to answer this.
Yeah, you could have asked me directly, but you've got to sign up to go cardless before, so sorry, mate. But no, so is it possible to fit 2 hip hinges into 100%. A week's training? What's your thought process, mate? Mine is yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, of course.
I think a lot of people can. A lot.
100%. I think for most people, it's advantageous to do so. I don't think both of them need to be insanely demanding. Like, I have a lot of people doing a dumbbell RDL alongside a stiff leg or a deadlift or a barbell RDL. One of them might be more demanding, lower rep range, focusing on just loading the whole posterior chain, and then like I quite like a dumbbell RDL later on in a leg day, focusing on like the length and range on the hamstrings, keeping the reps continuous so it's not overly demanding. But even so, like, I've had loads of clients before on just 2 main hinges across a week, like, because
I have a lot
of either because they need to learn the pattern, or because they're not strong enough yet to accumulate a ton of fatigue from them. So you could easily have 2 hinges in across a week for someone who's hinging 80 kilos. Like, they're not going to be trashed from that. Yeah, even up to 120, 140 probably, they're not going to be absolutely trashed from that. Yeah, if you're hinging 5 plates or something, you're trying to do that every 3 days or something, then yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult. But I'd say, like, for example, I do a hinge, I do a deadlift, and I do a dumbbell RDL. And as long as you manage your recovery, and as long I'm not doing 5 sets on each, I'm doing 2 sets on one and 1 set on the other. Like, you know, there's so many variables that come into play here. We could say yes, and it'd be 1 set of each and 5 reps in reserve. Obviously, you could hinge twice a week if you're doing 5 sets of each, all taken to true failure, you're probably going to be absolutely trash. So as long as you're managing your recovery and you're not being stupid with your volume, then yeah, you could manage 2, 3, 4. You could hinge every day if you didn't train with any serious sort of level of effort.
Intent. Yeah. Train with intent. If you trained it with intent, you can't do 2 hip
Yeah,
hinges.
if you train with intent, then you'll be all right. Everyone there is massive.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Tom Taylor, 107 kilos, bigger than me. Massive.
Big lad. Big lad.
Yeah, he is a big lad, to be fair now. So, yeah, no, I think that answers it. So I'd almost just say give it a go. Give it a go, see what you get away with. The vast majority of people probably overthink on hip hinges and think, oh, I can't. I have a lot of individuals doing like an RDL and a stiff leg, or a dumbbell RDL, as you said, and then a regular deadlift or whatever it's going to be. And like you could probably have similar movement patterns. You could have like an RDL and a stiff leg deadlift, and as long as you can manage the demands of those movements and you're not just going at it with 5 sets, so as Finn said, you'll be sound. Or I'd imagine you would be, and if not, you can make changes and you'll be able to find a way that it works. So yeah.
All right, this is from Ben Mitch Fit, living it up in Dubai. Bless him.
Larry Wheels, and I don't know.
He trains with Larry Wheels now. Trains with Larry Wheels every session.
Yeah, training partner. Yeah, I bet.
Surprised he's not injured yet. He says, "How does it feel now that Reece has upgraded to a better-looking training partner?" Ooh. So I think he's trying to hit it off with Sanaya there a little bit.
Yeah, mate. Ben, what are you trying to say?
Won't be having that.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, Ben. What are you trying to say, bro? Like, why are you saying it like that, man? Why are you asking Finn this question and not me? You know, like,
I think,
come on, show some respect, please.
I think it's a downgrade, to be honest. But yeah, we'll move on to AJ's question. This is AJ Balwa. I think that's how you say his surname.
So I got filters there, and I thought it was AJ Morris, and then my heart went, God, got to pop up now. got to be serious. Hey, AJ.
So he said, how to overcome movements you find challenging in the gym. And then he put thank you, which is nice. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you for the question. Thank you to Ben for the question as well.
Ben, no thank you. No.
I would say, first of all, like, what are you defining as challenging? Because we should be challenged by every single movement. I don't think we should ever go into any movement and not find it challenging. So I'm guessing you maybe mean a movement that's difficult to progress, or you may be struggling on mentally to sort of get psyched up for it, or maybe you're getting anxious about it. What I would say in terms of how to overcome it, so first of all, like, if it's a movement that let's imagine it's a movement that you're struggling to progress, so let's say that's what you're classing as challenging. I would assess your execution, obviously, which we do, and your execution is very good, mate. I would then assess how hard you're training, which again is very good. So if a movement's still stalling, then I'd look at your external variables. So, you know, what's your sleep looking like? How are you managing your stress? What's your food looking like? You know, are you managing, you know, all those outside variables? If you are, then the next thing to look at would be, what's your mentality like going into the set? Are you using the right kind of sort of preset approaches? Are you walking up to a deadlift bar and just thinking, oh, see how I get on? Or are you getting psyched up and getting in the right frame of mind for it? And if all those things are ticked off, then I'd probably say you either need to switch the movement out because it's been in for too long and it's probably just run its course a little bit, or you need to pull back and have some form of deload. So that is the kind of method that I would run.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I actually got a similar question from Tristan. He asked, how do you get over a mental barrier, like lifting more weight? And then he dropped me over a message, said, like, the single arm pull down, I could easily stack it. Mentally in my head, I was happy and failed in the mid range. So like, that's maybe a movement. So for example, as Finn mentioned, like a single arm pull down isn't as fun as a stiff leg deadlift on a pull session. You know, so you almost have to kind of find, you're not going to have to go in with the same level of arousal, should we say. But there is that kind of demand where, like, you almost have to kind of break it down. And if you've assessed, as Finn mentioned, the outside variables, I don't want to say you're just going to have to want it, but like you do.
You have got to switch on.
You go in and be like, right, I've got to get after it.
Without sounding arrogant, like, I can guarantee majority of our clients, majority of people would benefit from training with either with us or with someone who can switch it on, because they'll be like, oh fuck, I'm not doing that, like I'm not getting my I'm not getting anywhere near that level of arousal going into a set. I'm not even taking my time, going into a leg extension. I'm just sitting down and going for it. Like, I think once you almost witness it, what that sort of taking your mind to that place can do, once you witness it and you see what people can do when they get there and the sets that they can achieve and the progress that they can make, and you start trying to implement that in your training, it's like, I think when I first ever started watching like JP videos, I was like, fucking hell, like he's training hard, isn't he? Like I was back then.
Fucking hell, this guy trains well.
Back then, like I never would have even thought, oh, maybe I need to tap into my mind a little bit and switch on for these sets, and I might be able to get more out of it. You don't even think that. Most people, most of the time, never really actually understand the limitations that your brain puts on yourself without even realizing. It's like the whole thing with, like, if let's say a mum has a baby caught, like, stuck under a car when they've had a car crash, like, and there's been stories where they can, like, a woman can pick up a car that she would never be able to do because of the adrenaline rush and because of the fact that she's not got those limitations on herself. She's got to get a baby out, let's say. Like, if you can kind of get a bit of that, you can kind of hold on to that going into a set. Like, imagine what you can get out of it. Like, we've said numerous times, if I was just go up to the bar going into a deadlift without being on, it won't move. If I was to go into the true squat without being switched on, I would literally just fail on the first rep at the bottom. 100%. So it is crazy what your mind can do.
No, completely. And I think, like, you can witness it firsthand. Josh yesterday and today, yesterday and the day before, he said to me, like, on the drive back, he was like, I've got to say, he was like, so he's trained with a fair few people at his gym. Like, he trains at that UFit gym, it's a good gym. And he was like,
what, in Wales?
Yeah, that's why he trains.
Where Pearson and
he said that he's seen them a few times. Like, he's had a chat to him or whatever. And he was like, I've trained with, like, he mentioned like 5 people, and he was like, and I've never in my entire life seen, like, the level of focus and, like, how you approach a set and how you brace and how you are. He was like, it's different. And I remember Tom and Perrin both said to me on a single arm pull down, or Tom especially, when we went Ultraflex, he was like, I've never seen anyone brace like that and, like, be as stable. And I was like, mate, it was literally a single arm pull down. Like, that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
But to us, it's normal. And
I also think that these things get overlooked because people think, oh, it's just a single arm pull down.
Yeah, like I said that, but I didn't mean it in like.
No, I know.
I was more so thinking, like, wow, imagine how I probably come across when I'm doing a stiff leg deadlift or a hack
people just
squat.
think that these it's the small percentages. They think, like, my breathing and bracing is not going to matter on a single arm pull down, but it does. It matters on everything.
No, and I literally attested it to, well, like I said, I compared it, and I said, like, yesterday on the drive back to him, I was like, well, me and Finn literally trained together now for like 2.5, 3 years. And as we said on the podcast plenty of times, like, it would be where we go on a leg press or we go on a hack squat, and we train like weapons when we first started training, but we do 7 assisted reps on a hack squat, and then it would be like, right, your turn. And you build up to that. And every set, we got better and better. Every session, we got better and better. And then you apply a bit of accuracy, and then it's like, no surprise, 2 and a bit years later, 3 years later, we're like, oh, we train quite well. You'd imagine so. But it takes time.
We almost went about it the wrong way round, because we were training like... We learned how to train hard before we learned how to train accurately, which I don't really recommend, because I think it's very difficult to do that. You almost have to go through a period of resetting a lot of movements.
Yeah.
But
I'd argue
you can accept to do that.
Physiques, I'd rather someone who trains intensely way more than someone who trains accurately but trains like a pussy. Like,
Yeah. So obviously, you don't need to have one or the other, but I know what you mean. If you had to, then yeah.
And you almost can't teach intensity, and that comes in a long. You can teach intensity, but it takes a long, long time to. Yeah.
I do think as well. Some people just literally don't have it in them, like, and that's fine. Yeah. Like, that's not me being rude or being against.
No.
People that haven't. Like, I just think some people haven't. Like,
how many clients do you have that say, like, they get frustrated if they can't do a set properly, like, because something's, let's say, gone wrong.
Yeah.
And they get annoyed with themselves. And I always say, like, you should be annoyed, but it's normal. Like, it's normal. Like, you're not going to be able to take every set, like, all the way there, because your accuracy.
I always just say it's a learning curve. Like, you learn from it. Every set that you bottle is a set to be better next time. Like, you learn from it every time.
Every set that you bottle, you'll be better next time. Finn Kelly Coach 2021.
But even, like, it's the same. Even now, like, very rarely will we ever bottle a set, but we can still look back and go, that wasn't great. Maybe the eccentric was a bit quick there. Maybe I don't think you can ever stop analysing your execution and how well you're training. I think if you do, that's when you start coming complacent.
Yeah.
Obviously we film a lot of our training to post, but I also film it so I can always look back at it. And after each set, I'll look back and I'm like, okay, that was, that could have been better. That could have been better. Like very rarely will I just go, yeah, that's perfect. Like there's always little things. Like it's never, there isn't any such thing as perfect, really.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be like points I'll pick it up in a set and afterwards, and I'll be like, fucking, like, it'll be a set of 10. I'll be like, that fucking rep 4 was shit. It'll be like, and that will like piss me off that the 4th rep, my bracing was off or something like that. Like I lost a little bit of tightness out the hole. And like I said, when I've trained with Sanaya or whenever, and like I'll do a leg press set and she'll say
every
to me,
session.
No, every session, that's the best set I've ever seen. Every single session. And I'm like, no, that rep, that like out of a 21 rep, I'm like, fucking rep 17, I should have braced before. I shouldn't have done it continuous. Because I know in the moment, I fucked it, that was a shit rep.
Yeah.
But it's how it has to be. And I love that aspect because it's like you're going against yourself and it's like you can be so critical.
I think that's what makes training enjoyable.
Yeah, especially when you get to the point where you're not going to be seeing ridiculous jumps in progression in your physique or in strength. Like you're not going to add 10 reps, but if you can be getting, let's say, 1 extra rep and that set is so much better. Like, for example, I know literally on the leg press, if I was to look at my log, I wrote, rush the last 4. So I know, right, if I don't rush the last 4 next time, I'll be like, right,
even
that's
if
a
I
better
get
set.
the same reps or, I think that's like, it's just a case of trying to be better, isn't it? Like, that's what makes training enjoyable long term. If there was no progression other than just the numbers going up or just looking a bit better, like I think there's more to it than that. Like it's trying to be better in everything that you're doing as well. Because I think you can easily neglect the actual execution of a movement just because the numbers are going up. So that's all that matters. And it's like really not. So that's when you see people just chucking weight about for fun, and it's like you wonder why they're not making great progress, or they question why they've not got loads of muscle. It's like because you're throwing weight about, but you're not actually training very well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, should we smash through the rest of these?
Can do, mate. Yeah, I've got about 5 minutes until I need to eat because I need to go for a walk. So if we can wrap it up, I don't just want to go through the questions to go through the questions.
No, what we'll do is we'll save them. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
I've got quite a few left.
Yeah,
we'll go over next time, and we can still do a box next time, but we'll start on these because they save on your story, don't they? You just have to go back.
Yeah, you can scroll back on your archive.
We'll go through a few more. Yeah, a few quick. I've got a couple of quick ones. So, Dylan, your client, Dylan and Paul from Ireland.
Yes, Dylan R.
Dylan R. Yeah, Dylan R274.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Reece fit when you getting off the post-show binge, mate."
Oh fucking hell! Not yet, mate.
That's me.
Haven't even got past the initial food focus. It's horrible. No, to be fair, training days, I'm already at a point. Literally about a week ago, and I was like, oh god, this is getting a little bit of a challenge. Like I said to you, Finn used to get 4 meals in before we used to train at like 2:30. I got to pat him on the back because that's fucking silly. I get in 3 meals. And it's like broken up like 125 carb and like the usual like 10 fat and then like 45 protein. The following meal is like 110 carb, and it's like then similar protein, similar fat, and then my pre-meal is just like 150 carb, and it's like getting in that many carbs 3 meals in before I train. It's like, oh, I don't fancy it. And like my post-workout and my final meal, it's okay. Those 3 meals before I train, I'm not a fan of it already. So it's funny because if you were to say that to me 2 months ago, I'd be like, nah, it's not going to be that quick. It's not going to be that quick
for that amount of food.
Yeah, and now I'm already like, I don't fancy it. I don't fancy eating that much, but it has to be done. And on non-training days, my non-training day food is actually pretty low, so it's quite nice. I'm gonna have like 4 days now of like food not being stupidly high. But I won't lie, like today I've actually been quite hungry, which is quite cool because it's like, okay, I'm not as like, I know my food will be higher. It definitely will be higher. And the fact that like I can have a rest day and be like, oh, my food's actually pretty low. It feels, it's good because it gives me confidence that I can work my food up progressively to even higher levels than I've had before. So yeah, post-show binge, I mean.
To answer the question, he's still binging.
Still binging every day. Yeah, still binging. I mean, I'd have a look around. I had 4, I didn't track this Pepsi Max, and this has 2 calories in, so 2 calories over. Fucked it. Yeah.
I have one more quick one, and then you can ask one or two. This is from someone called Jack Muzzer, or JXCK Muzzer. Daily non-negotiable. So I want you to pick one thing, and I'll pick one thing that you have to do every single day.
I mean, get out of bed. Like, that has to be one.
You don't have to.
Yeah, true.
You can work from your bed. I would say sleep.
Yeah. Eat.
Yeah.
Food focus. That's what it is.
Eat and sleep. Food. Like, I guess I don't need to train every day.
No. You need to eat every day, and you need to sleep every day. Hydration, drink.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's just to survive.
Yeah, the basics. I mean, then
what about a different one? Like, let's say one for independently for us that we wouldn't. That isn't one that
social norm.
Not an obvious one.
Yeah. Christ. Check WhatsApp.
But not a work one. I would say
watch the football highlights if there was a Champions League game the day before. That's what I do.
I'd say either writing out like my day, which I do on my whiteboard. Well, it's not in that much detail, but I write down like the tasks that I need to get done and the times that I'm going to get them done by. I quite like doing that. Or wearing these bad boys.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which are blue light blockers for all the audio listeners.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, next question. Right, is that you done?
Yeah, I've got a few more, mate, but we can do them next time.
Yeah, we'll save them for next time. So I've got a few good ones. I don't want to rush through them.
Yeah,
I feel like, especially with the first podcast, it's good just to kind of get ourselves back in, have a chat, see how things are, and then kind of just go through a few at the end. Adam_Hardy had his check-in today. Weirdly enough, I actually mentioned this. He goes, if yous suffer from any body dysmorphia, any advice on how to deal with it as I struggle? And weirdly enough, he didn't mention this in his check-in. And I literally said, while I was looking through his photos, I was like talking about condition and composition. And I was like, there were times where I was looking at myself and be like, I'm so soft. I look back and think, oh, I wasn't as soft, but it's how it is. And I look back, like I said, it's normal. Like, you will always overthink, because he's very critical in the ways he is about his arms or about his physique. And I've said it's something that's completely normal. I feel small the vast majority of days, like, especially when I was during prep, like I was like looking at myself in clothes, like, Jesus Christ, you look so.
I think the best thing you can do is, I know it sounds so simple, but literally just try and not look at yourself. Like, very, very rarely do I analyze my physique. Like, even when I pose and I take photos, I'm not trying to pull my physique apart. I'm literally just sort of seeing what my flow looks like, seeing what my overall shape is like, and looking at sort of slight strengths and weaknesses. But I almost try and look at yourself through someone else's eyes. Yeah. So you've got no bias on it, and you're not pulling yourself apart. Because I could easily do that. Like, I could easily look at somebody parts, but that's fucking shit, and you could beat yourself up about it. But what's that going to do? Like, if you've got that kind of mindset, you need to switch it to, right, this is a weakness, I need to bring it up, rather than, I don't like how I look. It's like, well,
you almost break it down as well and think, like, why do you like, why is it an issue?
That's what I don't.
Yeah. No, I'd almost think breaking down, like, why is the problem? What's the problem with it? Is it because other people? You might be thinking, like, I hope other people don't think I'm, like, I hope I'm wearing a tight top so my arms look good if I'm going out, or I hope I get a compliment. And if that's the case, I'd almost assess what you're actually doing.
I think it takes time, because I think we're all like that in the early years, maybe, of training. Like, I literally, this sounds so weird, but like, I literally could not give a fuck, like, if people think that I look good or not. Like, which is weird, because I want to be a bodybuilder and I compete, and I'm going to compete. Like, but that it's strange, isn't it? It's probably hard to explain for people that don't see it like that. But I'm not going on stage for some form of sort of acceptance, or I don't need the sort of certification that I look decent, or telling where my strengths are. I don't get why people want judges' feedback. You don't need it. You can look at your own physique. Yeah, you can,
better.
You can tell where your strengths and weaknesses are. Probably, without being rude, most judges are either going to just give you some generic feedback because they don't even remember who you were, or they're just going to be like, a lot of the time, they're probably going to just tell you what you want to hear. Oh yeah, you look great, you just need more time. Like, whereas you can assess your physique, or your coach can assess your physique. So yeah, I almost think the best thing you can do is look at yourself from, like I say, like an outsider's view. Don't be almost overanalyzing things, and just try and be like, I say this to my clients, just try and almost like be as ignorant to it as you can, and just focus on the process.
Yeah.
If you're looking at yourself every day, looking for changes, or trying to be, seeing some improvements, it's not going to happen. You're going to pull yourself apart and end up being like, oh, fucking hell, is it worth it? I'm not seeing daily changes. And yeah, I think it can eat you up if you do that.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. Hopefully that's helped Adam, but it probably won't, because it takes time. Like,
yeah, it does take time, yeah.
And it will just be something that you develop as you mature, and that's it. And there's also as you grow, but it gets worse. I've said it as a joke before. I was my biggest when I was like 17 in my head. When I was 17, I was massive. I'm now 5 years older, and I'm smaller than, in my head, I feel smaller than what I was when I was 17. Because you put on a bit of muscle, and you're bigger than some of your mates, and you're like, yeah, I'm fucking huge. I'm a big lad. But in reality, I look back at photos, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, some of the stuff I used to wear or something, I'd be like, what are you doing? Yeah. So yeah, all right, last question we'll answer. It's a nice quick one. If you were to start a hobby, what would it be? So any hobby, anything that you'd like to do, martial arts, be a chess player, whatever, come on.
Music.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I want to learn guitar, and I'd like to start like writing my own songs and stuff. I think that'd be cool.
What, like to sing?
Yeah.
With a guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite cool. Yeah.
I would like to do that. Or gaming and streaming gaming.
You're not entertaining enough, mate. No one want to listen to you just talking about gaming, and you shit at games, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know, mate. I'm actually quite entertaining for people that people have told me I'm entertaining before.
Really? Yeah.
People like me because I'm just so real.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think I'd get a lot of viewers.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, if I was to start a hobby, I'm trying to think of a sarcastic one, but I'd quite like to be able to talk a few different languages. But I think that's just because it's something that's quite cool if you were to go somewhere. But I know that. But I'm going to be completely honest.
I don't think that's a hobby, though.
I don't have the time. Secondly, I can't be asked. I wouldn't be asked.
It's not a hobby, that though, is it? What do you do for fun?
Yeah.
Learn languages.
No, you know what? I've got a serious one. I'd like to read books. I think there's a lot of information and stuff.
I agree.
I'd like to be able to read a book.
Shame
However, I can't read. Failed English, but that's what it was. No, my mind just doesn't. I wouldn't be able to sit still and just read a book. I'd be like, I need a little bit more external stimulus than.
I agree, but I'm the exact same. I do. Yeah. I do like reading when I get into a book. Like whenever I've gone on holiday in the past.
Gone on holiday, yeah.
I'm always into a good book, and I'd like to be able to do it at home. But it is just it's a bit more difficult, isn't it? Especially when you've got a lot less time on your hands.
Yeah, no.
Like imagine today just being like, oh, I'm just going to read a book for an hour. Like, just when? It is
when? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you want to wrap it up there? I think that's a good length.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Past my meal, mate. You fucked it. Yeah, you fucked it. 6 minutes past my meal. Fucked it. Meal time in the bin.
I need to eat.
Perfect. Right. Well, mate, it's been lovely. Genuinely, I've really enjoyed this. First of many back, and this is what 24. So 25 will be next, which is a quarter of 100. Didn't fail maths, guys. Didn't fail maths. So yeah, next episode will be out next week. I'm guessing that'll probably be out. This will be out tomorrow, Friday, maybe, or Saturday.
Yeah, I'll get time over the weekend, over the next few days.
Sound right. Well, like I said, we'll answer the rest of the questions next week, and then we'll also go through some new questions if you guys leave us some in the question box to be leave next week. So again, thanks for the support, the people that messaged us saying they're going to ask us loads of questions who didn't. Again, thanks for all the story tags that we might inevitably not get. Now I say that because everything we say doesn't seem to be occurring at this point. And other than that, we'll look forward to catching you guys in the next episode. See you later. Right.